Hey there and welcome back to the garden. Today we're going to give this jade plant a nice big pruning. It was cut back pretty heavily when we first moved in a few months ago, but I like to give jade plants the look of a majestic old oak tree that you might find when you're on a hike out in the woods. Or even a tree that you'll find in one of the oldest parks in your city. Now my main goal for this jade is to be able to see the plant stand on the deck as you're walking down the side yard from the main house to the backyard. I also want to be able to see all the big trunks on the inside of the plant, as well as bring the jade off of the fence to allow for more airflow around the entire plant. The first cuts I usually do on a project like this are more just aggressive kind of general cuts that open up the plant so I can see what I'm really working with, and they're anything from like little small cuts like this to more larger cuts taking off a whole branch or a whole portion of the plant. I tend to bounce around from side to side at the start. I'm also trying to bring the whole plant into one cohesive unit, and in order to do this I decided that this branch is just kind of shooting off to the side and it's not really playing well with all the other ones, so I decided to take it out and just completely get rid of it. The main tool I'm using today is actually marketed as a sod cutter, and I found that it cuts really well through almost everything, but especially through succulents. It just cuts through it like butter. Most of the time it takes such little effort just to kind of hold the limb in place and then just slice through it like that. But right here I try to take out this larger limb and it just does not go through it very safely, I should say. Still does, just not safely. So I grab the machete and give the bottom of this limb just a big whack, trying to get it out of there so I can show the full beautiful base of this jade. Every now and then when I'm doing work in the yard, I end up accidentally knocking something over. Luckily I didn't break this one today. So in order to get the rest of this limb just out of there, I grab my tree pruning saw that's normally used to trim like tree branches and whatnot. This jade is so thick at the bottom, it was probably like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 inches, that I needed something with a serrated edge just to get it a nice clean cut off there. With the bigger cuts done, I grab the sawed knife again and I start doing a little detail work around the base, and then I decide to go back up to the top and kind of get more of the branches that are crisscrossing through the center of the plant. I'm keeping in mind how I want the plant to grow over time, so I'm getting rid of the crisscross ones because I don't want the plant to grow into itself. I kind of want it to grow out almost like a vase. This is where the pruning really starts to speed up because I have a really good idea of the general shape I wanted the plant, so I use the sawed knife just to really get in there and just slice off all these little ones that are really not serving a purpose on the center of the plant. After all that pruning, the jade is still blocking the potting shelf just a little bit, so I'm going to go back in there and take off some of these larger pieces of the canopy and then go in with more of a fine tooth and get rid of the branches that are growing either down or towards the deck, so that way the energy of the plant can go up and away from the deck. I didn't really like how this branch was twisting at the top and into itself, so I just lopped it off on the top and we'll see if some new green sprouts grow. Usually when I'm about 90% done with the pruning project, I like to go around and clean up everything that I've done already. 1, so I can see if there's anything that's worth saving and propagating and replanting, and 2, so I can get a better picture of what is left to be done on the plant itself. Even though they're hardly noticeable, I'll go through and cut off the smallest little slivers because it would just bug me if I left them. You'll find a link in the description to the exact same Astron sod cutter I've been using throughout this video, in case you wanted to add it to your gardening toolbox or if you just wanted to read more about it. Thank you so much for helping me prune this jade plant today, and as we all know, the yard work never ends, so please subscribe and follow me along this gardening journey.